Hello, my name is Jack O'Neill, and I'm going to be talking to you guys about my academic career and my transition into the MDS program. So, initially, I was going to Boise State to get a degree in general business, and they actually switched it to business administration. So I was in the Kobe Business School for quite a while. I was having quite a bit of difficulties with some of the classes, and it wasn't so much the teachers or anything like that. It was just the material and kind of the state that I was in at that time. My freshman and sophomore years were definitely very difficult, and kind of transitioning into having a bunch of stuff on my plate at once. I was a Boise State cheerleader for 4 years. I had to work a part-time job and then schoolwork as well as friends and all that other stuff. It's tough to keep all that stuff on your plate. So that was definitely difficult. However, I did learn a lot of great things from the business school, but during my fifth year, I found out that financially we couldn't stay. I couldn't stay at Boise State, so I had to drop out from all of my classes, and then I was going to move back home to Washington. And somehow we found out that there was an online program and that there was the MDS program, the Multidisciplinary Studies. And after talking to one of the advisors, I found that this was a perfect opportunity for me and a good way to get my degree as well as focus on something else. And yeah, just try to wrap everything up instead of just gassing out at the finish line. So my transition into the MDS program was very, very seamless. After talking with Brooke, my academic advisor, she gave me a huge list of things to study because I had about, I want to say, well, the set amount MDS classes and then about 11 or so credits that I need to fulfill. And it turns out that there was a user research program that focuses on ethnographic research and observational inquiry, which I didn't know anything about. However, I did take a few anthropology classes, and I thought that it was really, really interesting. And I'm a big people person, so when she was telling me that it was kind of a mix between anthropology and marketing, I thought this was a perfect opportunity. So the biggest transition, though, going into the MDS program or during the MDS program was that it was online only, which was very, very new to me. For all the other classes, we've been using Blackboard, but the problem is that there was kind of a disconnect between Blackboard and the actual class itself. So this new online only was different, was very different. But what I really liked about it was that everything that was due or everything that was needed to be done was laid out for me straight from the start. Like for a lot of classes, the entire all the modules were already put like in place, so I didn't even have to worry about whether or not something was not going to be due or something was already due. But I will say one of the hardest challenges with these online classes is that my first, I guess, first 7 weeks of the semester, I was taking 8 classes, which the most I've ever taken in my academic career was 4, and some of those are some tough years too. So 8 was definitely a lot on my plate. Um, and this was very difficult at first. I remember the first day that I had to do a bunch of work. It literally took me 12 hours to get through everything. And then I realized like, oh, well, can't procrastinate anymore. Definitely have to get on all the schoolwork, especially on your off days too. Um, However, those were mainly focused on the user research side of things, but it was really nice getting to know all of that. And eventually I found out that the user research is very similar to what the multidisciplinary classes are teaching. And especially looking at like empathy, perspective taking, and all that stuff. User research is right along with that. So it was very nice. I didn't even, I kind of got lucky, I guess, with that, but it was very nice being able to integrate both um, both classes or both different sections into one. Especially looking at like perspective taking in general. As a user researcher, you have to be able to understand um, the user, the person using the product or the service, and able to in order to make a better design for the product, and that's including in problem solving. But definitely, my professors helped me out so much along the way. Professor Mahoney, Professor Sass, Yadlin, and Bennett, they were all super communicative. Um, Anytime I sent them an email or something along those lines, they were quick to get back to me, which was amazing. Um, and it was kind of a new deal because especially like in-person classes, it's very, very difficult to get to everyone, but they were on top of it the entire time. Group work was also a weird transition, especially being so remote. Um, Having to work through emails and such things as Slack and all this other different types of online communication techniques. And that was definitely it was a weird deal. But after good communication with my group, we were able to establish like Zoom meetings and everything like that, which was very helpful. The material that I learned will definitely help me in the future, especially with the problem solving techniques, looking at empathy and perspective taking. It's going to be huge, especially in the upcoming years, and especially with all the COVID and quarantine business. Working with teams remotely could be a norm in the future. So having this practice, having these skills established will be very, very beneficial for me looking forward in the next 5 years after I graduate. So thank you guys so much. Appreciate it.